Hey you guys, it's me, Magic. No, it's me, Onami. I'm doing dishes right now, but I keep referencing this for people. So I was like, I need to just have this written somewhere or spoken somewhere so that you guys can access it, because it's really helpful if you're wanting to go the long way as a spiritual teacher, is to know that there's 3 paths that you will find yourself on if you are in fact a teacher, that all of these paths begin after your first awakening. And it's also really key because 2 out of 3 paths involve breaking up with teachers over and over and over again. Let's get into it. These are the 3 official titles that you get as a spiritual teacher: sage, learned, and saint. So the first one is the path of the saint. And the path of the saint involves staying on one lineage the whole way up to enlightenment. So as you know, 3 levels of consciousness: the exoteric, good, bad, right, wrong. Exoteric, for example, Christianity, the Bible, verbatim, God and the devil, the world of duality. On this level of consciousness, the teachings are given in story. So in the Bible, you read stories of people's experiences with God. One of them, for example, Job, will really resonate with you and you get awakening by proxy. The first level is a subjective level, of course, because it's story. No one's stories are the same. The second level, using the lineage of Christianity, and you would be on one lineage the whole way through if you were taking the path of the saint. You would not be breaking up with teachers. Second level is gnosis. Now, gnosis is the first objective level where the teachings are given in myth and parable. The natural language here as well is poetry. And so, for example, Jesus was not sharing his stories. Jesus was sharing parables. Myths are archetypal, so anybody can relate to these stories. It's not the absolute, it's not the furthest level, it's not God. They're this intermediary. So like the different pantheons are the intermediary, or Jesus, for example, a human that embodied a God. So it's an extra layer of relatability. Second level of Christianity is gnosis. And then there's the esoteric, the holy of holies, the highest level, and that is God itself. So if you were on the path of the saint, you would stay on this one lineage all the way up to the top. Now, the definition from saint is somebody who has experienced a higher than average gradation of suffering, both conscious and just by life circumstance. So life circumstance would be you grew up in a really tough place. Life circumstance. Conscious means that you intentionally put yourself through suffering. So for example, getting sober, difficult physical practices, etc. When you've gone through this level of suffering and it changes the type of person that you are, you become merciful, you become compassionate. Compassionate meaning you understand that no one can really help anyone, that suffering is a part of the human condition, and you learn how to say, I understand why this is happening and I wouldn't change it for anything. That's when you get the title of saint. So one lineage the whole way through. Put my book on mythology back where it belongs here in the library. One lineage the whole way through. Higher than average gradation of suffering, intentional, and also life circumstances changes the way you are. You get the title of saint when you awaken. So awakening will be when you make the transit from the exoteric, which is good, bad, right, wrong, story, world of good and evil, into gnosis, where you understand that everything is connected and there is no evil. When you make that awakening, not just knowing it, but actually applying it, which changes the way that you are. You don't get mad when you don't get your way anymore. You don't get mad when people disagree with you. You just don't care. You just don't care what happens. All awakening from the first to the second level is going to look like that. You stop caring what happens. You just don't mind. Anything that life gives you, you can eat. You're like, great, I didn't get my way. Great, I got my way. Before this awakening, you're just really pissed off every time you don't get your way. When you get your way, you're like, oh my God, there's a God. When you don't get your way, you're like, oh my God, there is no God. 1 second, my daughter's hollering. 1 second. Hey, Wiley, my love, can I close this door so you can sing even louder? Go ahead. Singing in the bathroom. All right, the second title that you get is the title of learned. And this is essential if you were born into privilege and you're like, what? Like, Can I ever be enlightened, or can I ever be a teacher if I haven't gone through extreme suffering? Yes. Alan Watts, great example of that. Basically, everyone in the new religious movement, really good example of that. Neville Goddard, Edgar Casey, all of these good examples of learned. Edgar Casey, no, sorry, he was a trance medium, different. But Neville Goddard, yes. So learned is somebody who awakened by all manner of objective means. All manner of objective means he reached the mesoteric like the Christians. He reached the mesoteric like the Buddhists. He reached the mesoteric, left duality like the Hindus, like the Muslims, like by all manner of objective means. So as many ways as you could awaken, you awaken. Now look, his first awakening going into Gnosis, they were probably like, oh, now you stay on this path forever. Hey, Wiley, I'm just shooting a video if you wouldn't mind being a little bit quiet, okay? Waking up, if you could be a little bit quiet, please, because I'm shooting a video.
Well, Mom, I really gonna put some cute clothes on.
Okay, go ahead and put...
I want you to show my pink microphone.
Okay, I would love to do that. I'll charge your microphone so you can really sing. So when you awaken, every teacher is going to try and claim you and be like, yes, you've done the requisite work. Now stay on the path of Christianity forever, or stay on the path of Catholicism forever. And if you're awakening by all manner of objective means, the second you hit it one way, you go and seek out another and another and another. So some person is given the title of learned when they awaken out of the exoteric into the mesoteric. By the way, the process of going from the exoteric to the mesoteric is called initiation. It's an oral activation. So it needs to be done for you by a living teacher. You can't read your way into it. You can't research your way into it. Why? Because it's something that needs to happen with the living word. The living word means right now in 2025, you cannot figure out how all things could be connected, how God could be in charge of all things while there's a genocide happening, etc. The living word, the living teacher says this is how it applies right now. And that process of initiation, it's not like an overnight like bonk on the head. It's something, it takes time to detox. You'll be invited to sink back into duality over and over again. For me, it took a couple of years. Ideally, I can save you that time. This is all stuff we teach in my workshop, Mesoterica, by the way. You can mommyunami.com/Mesoterica. Easy. But it takes about 2 years to really, it took me 2 years. Just because it took me that long doesn't mean it'll take you that long. You have tools also from me that I didn't have. But it took a while, and you can descend in conscious. That definitely happened to me during pandemic. Oh my God, Wiley, you look adorable. Is your little egg experiment going well? Your egg experiment? Lola. Apta. The final title is a combination of the two. This one also involves breaking up with teachers. So the final one is called Sage. And a sage is somebody who had a higher than average gradation of suffering. Again, life circumstance, I grew up in a cult, intentional, getting sober, being very hard on myself, forcing myself to do difficult new things all the time, and more limitations. Combination, platter, higher gradation of suffering, and then waking up by all manner of objective means. So you go through all of the suffering, and then you wake up like the Sufis, and then you wake up like the Hindus, Sufis. You wake up like the Muslims. 1 second, I'll be with you in 2 minutes. Wake up like the Muslims, wake up like the Christians, wake up like the Buddhists, wake up like everybody. Aggregate all of that information, waking up by all manner of objective means. You gain the title of sage. Now, sage, again, breaking up with teachers, because every time you wake up like one, you learn a new language. And those are the 3 titles that you get. So comment down below which path you think you're on, and then how do you plan to start initiating your awakening so that you can officially gain this title. Awakening is kind of like a really hard workout. If you look cute afterwards, it didn't happen. You should be like, you're going to be in a completely different level of consciousness. And then just for a recap, because I forgot to tell you the language of the esoteric. Exoteric, first level of spirituality. Not yet. I said 2 minutes. It hasn't been 2 minutes. First level of spirituality, the teachings are given in story. Second level of teachings are given in myth and parable, can also be in poetry. Good good poetry. And then the final level is wordless symbol. Simply gazing at this symbol will bring you to awakening eventually. So Christianity, we have outer level Christianity, the Bible. Second level would be gnosis. Final level would be God, the symbol of which would be the cross which symbolizes suffering in return or sacrifice in return for reward. Of course, the cross says this, middle ground, Jesus died for your sins. As you get deeper into the true meaning of what all of that means, you'll come to understand more and more. So thank you very much. My daughter is ready. You want to ask me your question?
Well, I want to go over and do a singing contest with him.
Okay, great. I
I
have
got
some.
off my pink microphone and listen to
What's the name of this song?
I don't know.
Is that from Descendants? You want to invite your friend over and do some singing?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.